Good morning, everyone, and welcome you all to AABN's 143rd weekly webinar today. It's heartwarming to see a happy bunch of participants on a Sunday morning. Welcome to you all for responding to our call and being here. Over the past 40 months, we have been able to put together online programs to keep our AABN community not just engaged, but also meet a range of inspiring people who can help share your ideas and thoughts. AABN has been engaging you with the objective of helping you hit the refresh button on emerging trends on a range of topics. We got an awesome speaker with fresh perspectives on take a big leap, how to think like a master strategist. Let us extend a very warm welcome to our eminent speaker, Mr. Rajesh Srinivasan, to this interactive business networking session. Master strategists are a rare breed of people. They are able to play high-level chess and make it look as simple as playing checkers. If you want to become a master strategist, there are certain key disciplines to consider developing. While being tactical is a practical, hands-on skill, strategy is a thinking skill. To me, the ability to think strategically is a critical skill if you are inspired to be a leader. When organizations gather to discuss the coming year's strategic plan, often the review team defaults to the typical tools used year after year to conduct the annual strategy review. While the process may have carried the organization strategy in the past, there are more than enough signals that the organization must widen their view and understanding of drivers of change on the organization. In this power-packed webinar today, Mr. Rajesh Srinivasan will address the key elements of strategic thinking that are missing in most organizations and how they add up to explosive success for the organization that use them. We have seen these approaches work for single-person operations and multi-billion-dollar multinationals, and he would love for you to learn how to apply them in your work. He's not just going to describe a process or tell stories. He's going to outline critical ways to think that will make you look like a genius no matter what you manage. In a competitive and unpredictable world, our guest speaker today, Mr. Rajesh Srinivasan, will help us discover how to become a master strategist who creates and captures value. I have the pleasant duty of introducing and welcoming our eminent speaker, Mr. Rajesh Srinivasan, founder, Mindful Marketing, a boutique strategy consulting firm. Rajesh Srinivasan is a marketing and brand strategy consultant, 2x author, and a keynote speaker. He has over 18 years of experience in demand generation and brand building for B2C and B2B companies. Author of 3 books, Mindful Marketing, Marketing Success Formulae, and Growth Nuggets. Rajesh's books have been featured in various magazines like Business Today, The Week, India Today, and Business Standard. A TEDx speaker, Rajesh has frequently been invited to deliver keynote address for various industry conferences like World Marketing Congress, Economic Times, Marketing Leaders, etc. As a columnist, published more than 50 long-form articles and blogs. Lectured for top B schools like the Indian Institute of Management, National Institute of Fashion Technology, National Institute of Technology, and MICA Industries Experience. Real estate, retail, media, education, advertising, healthcare, financial services, consumer technology, SaaS, publishing market, research, business consulting, and training. Rajesh is an alumnus of the Indian Institute of Management, Lucknow Executive Education Program and was the topper of the batch. We have taken upon ourselves a very ambitious program for this morning within the admittedly short space of time. I do not want to make the time available any shorter and therefore wish us all the informative exchange of ideas and information that stimulates an appetite for more. With a personality like Rajesh, you can go on and on eulogizing. But let me stop here and let the audience have the privilege of listening to you, Rajesh. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Rajesh.
Thank you so much, Gopi, for the wonderful introduction. And Vanakkam, all of you. I'm from Tanjavur. I'm native of Tanjavur. So during my childhood, whenever we, way back in 1990s, 1985, when we traveled from Tanjavur to Chennai, whenever Chidambaram comes, the train, my daddy used to show, this is Annamalai University, Rajesh, a very prestigious university. One day you should aim for studying in this university. So I'm quite lucky. See, today now I am talking to the alumnus of the prestigious institution, which I always wondered, aspired to study. A lot of my friends have passed out from Annamalai University. They are in good positions serving both government, private companies, and social sectors. And I am extremely, uh, proud of sharing my thoughts. I wouldn't call, the next one and a half hour or so, whatever I'm going to share, don't see it from the perspective of someone who has from the perspective of expertise. I'm sharing this as a practitioner. What I understood when I in my 23 years of career is I've started as a salesperson. I've sold things right from the ground level, from FMCG distribution to real estate. I sold courses of NIIT. I've literally sold everything. Then, after 10 years of selling, I jumped one layer up, and I've started doing marketing. Because I was into sales, I came to realize how things work at a ground level. So it was very easy for me to do or strategize marketing. So from 2010, I've started thinking from the marketing standpoint. And then, of late, recently, for the last 4 5 years, after getting into consulting and after working with CEOs, I've started seeing something which is missing, which is nothing but strategy, right? So my mentor always used to say, you start from sales or any other profession for that matter. I was into sales and marketing. You could be from different professions, but at any point, we could even be a father, mother. We could run some social organization. We could be working as top leaders in various organizations at different levels. But what's more critical, which I understood, is thinking like a strategist, thinking from a standpoint where you see things in a different light. At the end of the day, what I've realized is it's all about how I see things, how I approach things, what is the mindset which I have, and what is the level of self awareness I have. So I've started becoming a practitioner of strategy. So I've started observing a lot of things, not just from a business standpoint. I've started studying Darwin's theory. I started studying first principles. It means physics, biology, creativity. I started earlier, I used to be a very boring person. So now I venture out and watch movies. Off late, recently, I've started practicing Buddhism, Zen Buddhism. So as I widen my thinking, as I age, as I mature, I've started expanding my worldview and started understanding certain things. So today, whatever I'm going to share, I'm sharing this from a perspective of a practitioner. So as I share, I also feel a need to practice all these things in the daily affairs of my both live and consulting. So what I need from you is whatever I'm going to share, these are concepts, these are principles, time-tested principles. So I may need some participation also from you. So I may let us keep this interactive. I may ask some questions from you. Please feel free to answer them. Um, there is no right or wrong answer, particularly when you think of strategy. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we can take it forward from there. Hope the screen is visible to all of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Visible?
Yes, visible.
Yeah. Now, what I'm going to do is our idea number one. So I'm going to start with a Zen story. I believe most of you must be loving stories, right? So 1 minute. I'm taking some time here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the Zen story, which will help you to open up certain things or the way we can see things. I mean, the slide is still visible to all of you, right?
Yes, the slide is visible. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Sorry?
Yeah, screen is visible.
Okay, I mean the slide. Think like the Zen story slide is visible. Idea 1 is visible.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes.
Yes,
It
it is
is
visible, sir.
visible,
You can
but
make it.
it is in the view of the PowerPoint presentation. It is not yet in the presenter view.
Now it's okay.
You briefly, it was in the presenter view and it has gone back.
Okay, 1 minute.
You'll need to reshare actually.
Yeah, 1 minute, 1 minute. Okay, so now let's focus on the story first. Okay, I'll adjust those slides. Let's not break the flow of the session. So let me start with the story. This story is about an old Chinese farmer who lived many years ago, long time back. He had one old horse that he used to plow his fields. He was an agriculture. So he had one old horse that he used to plow the fields. So one day the horse ran away into the hills. Everyone said, I mean, his close friends and everyone said, we are so sorry for your bad luck. So the old man replied, after the Chinese farmer replied, bad luck, good luck, who knows? A week later, the same horse returned with a herd of wild horses, with a lot of wild horses. The horse came back with another 7, 8 wild horses, which now belong to this old farmer. Everyone said, we are so happy for your good luck. Again, the old man replied, good luck, bad luck, who knows? While his only son was riding on the wild horses, he fell off and he broke his head. He got a lot of wild horses, right? So one of his son, his only one son, he started riding on those wild horses and he suddenly fell off and he broke his leg. Again, everyone said, what a bad luck. And the old man again replied, bad luck or good luck, who knows? So the day was going. So one day the army came to the village. The army of the country came to the village and took all the strong young men to the soldiers. People in old days, army will come to the village and they pick up some strong people, young men, and they take them away to train them and keep them in the army for a while, right? So they came to the village and took all strong young men to be the soldiers for the emperor. Only the farmer's son was spared because he could not fight with a broken leg. So he was spared. So everyone started saying, what a good luck. So the old man replied, good luck, bad luck, who knows? So, the story continues, right? So this was a Zen story told to me by one of my Zen masters when I was staying in a Zen monastery for some time. What I realized is we constantly frame the situation as good, bad. It's because of the dual nature of the mind, right? So, however, if we notice, things don't work in that way. Things that we start as bad end up being good. Things that we start as good end up being bad. For example, how this applies in business, things we see as strength in our business of ours could be even a weakness for the competition. Even if we see a competition's strength, it can be a weakness for them also. So there is nothing called permanent advantage or disadvantage in any business or from an individual standpoint. An advantage or disadvantage cannot stay long for a long period. Again, the key idea which I learned is the impermanent nature of things. Impermanence. That's one of the key Zen or Buddhist principles. They call it as law of impermanence. There is nothing permanent in this world, and if we condense this idea and see everything from this perspective, even in the business, it will work. We can see things from Buddha's standpoint, from Buddhist perspective. So whatever I've told you today, I'm going to take you away from the business, because I firmly believe if we want to become a master strategist, we need to slightly move away from the business and bring in a lot of concepts. So how this concept of impermanence, how this concept of good luck or bad luck, who knows, applies in your business, applies in your own personal growth, applies, I mean, this can be applied in various senses. And you must have heard about the story of David and Goliath in Bible, right? Goliath was a big giant and David was a small guy who has beaten Goliath. So how he has beaten Goliath, the giant monster, is he understood the weakness of Goliath, the giant, which he thought is his strength. He thought he's so big, no one can beat him. But what the small guy David realized is, it is his big body movement is his weakness. He cannot move fast. So he took a sling. And he gave a shot in his neck, and off David is gone. So even when I do consulting, particularly when I do consulting for mid-sized firms, most of the times entrepreneurs see I have a big competition. The big companies, I need to, play the game amidst of big companies. What we try to do is, we just try to see the gaps in terms of what is the disadvantage of being big. So as I've told you in this story, everything has advantage and disadvantage, and how we frame it is very, very critical. So this is my first thought. Start seeing the advantage from the perspective, from this Buddhist perspective, from this perspective of how you can reframe it, right? So having understood that nothing is permanent. So our next idea is Lionel Messi's tactical pause. What I've learned from a book called Breakthrough is, Lionel Messi, when he started his career, he was facing extreme fear and anxiety when he entered into the field, because he wants to serve, he wants to score more goals. He wanted to play really well. So all those fear and anxiety, like we all have, he also used to have those fear and anxiety. Later on, what he realized is, with the help of his coach, he should approach this in a different way. So whenever he enters into the field for at the beginning of the game, for the first 15-20 minutes, he started practicing one thing. He never runs. He never plays the game literally for the first 15-20 minutes. Why he does that? He realized that during this first 15-20 minutes, it's crucial for him to, what he does during this 15-20 minutes is, he runs, slowly walks, but he observes what other players, I mean his own teammates, how they are positioned in different places. And he assess, I mean on the ground, he assess how the competition players are moving around. He just assess the entire situation for 15, 20 minutes. At the same time, he would just start calming his nerves. He wouldn't act at all. He wouldn't act at all. So the reason why he felt fear and anxiety is because he felt the need. He felt the urge to act quickly. So he started taking a tactical pause, 15, 20 minutes. And after assessment, even after assessment, he never plays the game fully active. He didn't prefer to run actively. So, I mean, at an extreme case in one game, I believe, this is a real story. He literally out of 45 minutes in one half, he literally played only 7 or 8 minutes. He literally ran and he literally held the ball only for 7, 8 minutes. But he gave right passes which led to goals, 1 or 2 passes. He even scored 1 goal. 8, 9 minutes in 45, 7, 8 minutes of actual playing in the 45 minutes of the game. Football, you know, right? To separate first half 45 minutes, second half 45 minutes. I'm talking about one half. So what I really understood from this is you must have also got the point which I am trying to share. You would have realized what I am trying to share. We always have an urge to act everywhere. When we go to a meeting, when we enter into an office situation, in our home, we always have the urge to act. We keep on acting, thinking, doing something. But to become an A player, to become, if we want breakthrough, I mean, we shouldn't act most of the times, right? Right, Leon and Messi. We should stop acting. This is a bit counterintuitive in the world which asks us to run always, to do things always, to be on the, busyness mode, as we would call. I call this as tactical pause or strategic pause, even in business, or even when I'm taking business decisions, or even when I approach any business problem. I should be playing the game only for certain minute of time. I mean, if I have to ask myself, I should be making 1 or 2 moves or 3 moves, but those 3 moves should be the most effective move which helps my team to score a game or to solve a problem, to do certain things effectively. What are those 2, 3 moves? To make those 2, 3 moves, I need to move away from the situation and get into the pause mode, get into the mode of observation, get into the mode of assessing things. Then I'll be able to make those 2, 3 moves. Imagine Messi also playing like others, getting involved in all those things. He would not effectively make those 2, 3 moves, only 2, 3 moves. I mean, in this 8, 9, 10 minutes, you cannot near Messi. He will be in an extremely dynamic mode. He will be like a beast, but only for 7, 8, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Rest of the time, he just calm his nerves, move slowly. He just watch the game, how it's going on. But when he moves, it's like a thunderbolt, only for those 8, 9, 10 minutes. So how it applies to us? Again, it connects with a lot of other things in the business, right? So, it's always better to move out, take a strategic pause, observe things, observe the interconnectedness of the things. Like Messi, observe both the competition, observe both our own players, observe our own systems, and then if we go ahead and attack a situation, attack a problem, it should be like a thunderbolt. No one shouldn't have expected the move which we are making. I mean, I'm sharing this in a positive sense. So that's the idea. That's idea number 2. So idea number 3, again, this is counterintuitive, right? So winning without doing anything new. Winning without doing anything new. See, as a consultant, as a strategy consultant, this is one of the work which we do. I'm sharing this honestly with you. Most of the times, strategy consultants don't do anything new, particularly when they approach an established business. I mean, a well-set business. I mean, having worked with, partnered with companies like McKinsey, Bank, or top strategy consultants of the world, I realized one secret from them, which I will share it with you. That's nothing but winning without doing anything new. As business owners, or as people who are in top position, or anything, even when we approach life, we think we always need to do something new, something innovative in order to grow. That's true. I'm not a, but once after you reach a stage, for example, if you're a company who does a good amount of revenue, lot of an established player, I would say, the way to see things is from an idea, from a perspective of entropy. There must be a lot of physics students here, some physics students. Entropy is a thermodynamics idea, is a physics idea. What it says, to be very, very simple, is any big system, not a big system could be an office, a company, stock market is a big system. Any big system tends to move towards disorder. That's the law. This I later learned, it's a law of universe. Even our body, it's always getting into the disorder mode, right? So why we meditate, why we do physical exercise, why we get into the diet mode, why we have good sleep, is because we are just trying to bring order where there is disorder, right? You can safely assume, if you're a leader of a company, or if you're leading a big team, you can safely assume everything is moving towards a disorder. And I'll give you a good example of this disorder. One of my clients, I'll share this with you shortly. He was running an 80, 90 retail stores in South India. He had roughly 80 to 90, I don't know the exact number, but roughly 80 to 90 retail stores. He said he wanted to increase the profitability. And now I'm just sharing the secrets of how consultants approach the problem, so that you can do it on your own or think like a strategist, right? So what I did is I applied the principle of entropy, and how can I win without doing anything new? He had only one business challenge. He wants to increase the profitability, and he wants to increase the revenue growth. I mean, revenue growth, and he wants to be profitable. He means he wants to profitably grow his business. What I did is, I mean, this is a consulting practice which most of the strategy consultants do, good strategy consultants, prudent consultants do. I studied the entire 90 stores, and we found that 20-30% of the stores are purely loss-making. The company is putting more money on, the company is assuming that every 90, they were seeing things only from a revenue perspective. So what I did is I analyzed the revenue of each and every store. It's basic principle of entropy, right? So I immediately realized there is a disorder in the system. There is a complexity in the system. When we studied that, we had to roughly, I've recommended to shut down 26, 27 stores immediately to boost the profitability. He was like, do I need to shut down? I asked you for a revenue growth, Rajesh. You're asking me to shut down my stores. No, I'm not going to do it. I said out of 80, 90 stores, if you shut down this 24, 25 stores, which is eating away your cash, eating away your money, your profitability will increase immediately. Yes, that's true. Yeah, because based on the analysis, we found that. But he asked me, what is the how do I grow? That's the next challenge, right? So the remaining 45, 50 stores, we have bucketed into two types. Top 20 stores. I mean, these stores were highly, making very good profit. The footfalls were high. I mean, the staff's motivation level were high, and the store level per store profit is very high. So what I did is, what we did is we studied the best practices of top 20 stores. And the next set of stores were like doing ordinary. So what we did is we studied the best practices of his own top 20 store, made a policy document and tried to adopt this in this next set of stores. And we started identifying locations very, very similar to top 20 stores, how this best practice can emulate it in other things. I think I've done this exercise way back. I mean, 4 years back. Now is both revenue and profitability has started growing considerable. So the reason why I've given this example is because even in any business, it's like the philosophy here, the principle is, if you're maintaining a garden, if you think of you as a maintenance, as a gardener. Hello, can you mute? I think Sujata Prakash, can you mute, please? Yeah. So think of you as a gardener. If you're maintaining a garden, Mr. Sujata Prakash, can you mute, please? Yeah. Think of you as a gardener. If you're maintaining a garden, it's very lucrative to put new seeds, grow new trees, and make the garden beautiful. At the same time, the most important work which we need to do is to grow the garden, to keep the garden wonderful. It means we need to cut off the weeds inside the organization. Sorry, inside the garden, right? So when you think of entropy in your organization, what are the things, what are the weeds? It could be an employee, set of employees who are defecting the whole culture. It could be certain products or services which is not at all adding any value. It could be certain systems and policies which have been there conventionally, but of no use at all, which is bringing huge disorder. What I have realized is, I mean, you can keep it as a rule. You can literally increase your profitability or make your company effective or efficient by cutting off top 20 things which are of no use. I mean, this is a most effective principle in the place where, again, the conventional thinking is do more, don't stop what's going on. There is a fear in not doing in us, right? So realize the entropy in your organization. And even for us in our personal growth, it's always necessary to weed out unnecessary things which is blocking our growth. So that's the idea of entropy. And realize this, any big system moves towards disorder. And how do you address that? I would like to see this thought in your minds. This is again a principle from thermodynamics. So coming back to our next idea, this is idea number 4. This is a Japanese principle. Hope the slide is visible. The full screen is visible to all of you. I just wanted to check.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the idea number 4 is get out of the building. This principle I've learned from a business coach called Steve Blank. He is the one who advised founders like Airbnb during the initial stage of the business, right? So what does get out of the building means? Any guess from anyone of you?
You mean when it is required that it is best to get out of a sinking ship than be in the ship?
Yeah, good attempt. May I know your name, Venkatesh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Venkatesh. Thanks for the share.
I-
Thanks
I-
for the share. Truly
Or we
appreciate
can
that.
say,
I think be a person of action, not be a, get out and act, not keep crunching numbers and analyzing it to death.
Good thinking, Vishwanath. Truly appreciate it.
maybe
You're
it's
from
an exit strategy.
1982 batch of chemical engineering.
I know.
Have you heard about entropy?
Yes,
Being an
of
engineer?
course. Absolutely.
I feel it is getting within.
Who's Samson? I want your name. I don't want your mobile name. Who's Samsung S1 S91 8U1? Unmute and talk. Unmute, please.
Yeah, my name is Sudhir. I
Yes,
think we should adopt design thinking or have empathy towards the customer.
Brilliant, beautiful, good thought.
I
think it means getting out and looking at your business from an outsider point of view, instead of sitting inside your business and seeing it from inside. This is Ishwar.
Wonderful, Ishwar. You're coming close to what
This is Pradeep.
Sir, instead of
Can we get it from Pradeep and then the next person can share?
sir, instead of just being obsessed with numbers and number crunching and missing the bigger picture, you shouldn't miss the bigger picture. Why you started the business, for what reason, and all that. Because people tend to get into too much of details about the numbers, and they miss the whole point of why they are there in the first place.
Brilliant.
Sudhir here, is it thinking out of the box?
Good. I told you, right?
Haripriya here. Can I say?
Yeah, please go ahead. Who's that?
Yeah.
HPSB?
Yes,
Thinking out of the
Haripriya.
box.
I'm from chemical engineering 93 batch. Thinking about your customer in their environment or from their shoes. Is that the way? Get out of the building.
Good.
Or can I put in a different way?
Who's that? Who's going to put it in a different way?
Shamkant.
Yeah, we will take two answers. Shamkant,
Yeah.
and next one is Arun.
Yeah,
Shamkant,
like
please
this.
go ahead.
Yeah, it is like this, increase your touch point with your customer so that, current, state of mind, you will come to know what the customer is expecting now. And the figures and all, earlier data will tell you the past, will not tell you the current, what the customer wants you.
Good thinking.
I too have the similar thing. Is you go to the customer, you don't sit in the room and visualize. That is part A. But go out to the customers, talk to the customers, see what is the liking, see what is the season, what is the cyclic nature. That you will get it from the customer. So go out of the building means go out, meet the people, take the input, and come back. So this is what I do.
Wonderful. Arun?
Yeah, I think that's what they already mentioned. I think don't think that you as an entrepreneur have all the ideas. Actually, you'll get a lot better ideas from the customers. The only thing is, I think you have the capacity of execution. The customers just sitting, someone will do it. So get the ideas and just implement them.
Okay. So thank you so much for sharing all your ideas.
Rajesh, I'd like to share. My name is Paul.
Yeah, Paul, go ahead. We will stop with
So
Paul and move ahead with the session. Please go ahead, Paul.
There are two types of value which an organization can tap into, right? One is the value which the organization has in itself, right? Just by becoming more efficient in terms of reducing costs, being more productive, right? That's one type of value. The second, investments, growth, whatever you can do within the organization. The more difficult and the bigger part of value actually resides outside, right? And it's a huge universe outside. It's not just customers. It could be to-be customers. It could be customers you've lost. All that put together, and that, I guess, is what is getting out of the building and going and seeing. It's the harder job. It's a lot of value out there, and the question is, how can you go about capturing it?
Wow, brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Paul is an alumnus of SP Jain Institute. Is my batchmate from Malaysia.
Okay, good. Thanks. I'm really happy. A lot of good things are, a lot of thinking is coming out, right? So now, let me go ahead and share what I mean, the underlying principle behind get out of the building. In Toyota management system, we all know the Toyota management system, right? It's quite familiar. They have rolled out some brilliant products. We all know the quality of products and the market share which Toyota has. They have this principle called Genchi Genbutsu. Genchi Genbutsu, right? So it means go to the place of action and observe the facts for yourself. Go to the place of action and observe the facts for yourself. Whenever Japanese want to introduce a new product, what they would do way back when they launched Lexus, one of the successful luxury car brand in the US market, what they did is they sent a group of engineers, 10, 15 engineers from Japan to the US market. They made those engineers visit the market, live inside the customers, travel in the cars of United States, understand the emotions of the customers. They have never revealed themselves as Toyota engineers to customers. They literally lived inside the market. Let me tell this word one more time. They literally lived inside the market for 6 months. After that, they identified there is a gap. People always think of luxury cars like BMW and all those things. And then the mid segment, there can be a gap. They found called it's luxuriously affordable. Lexus is a luxuriously affordable car, which stands between top luxury premium and then mid segment. So it came out and became a huge success. This is how they approach problems. And another thing which you notice, this gentleman by the name Sumant Mulgokar, he found Tata Sumo, right? And his employees usually notice him during lunch time. He would be missing. He would not be there in the office. He's the top man of the company, by the way. He's this MD and CEO of Tata Motors. During lunch, he would go out somewhere. And whenever employees wanted to approach him during that for some approvals or whatever he wanted to share, they wanted to learn from them, they would usually find him missing during this period. One day, one of his employees or senior management, there was a talk inside the company. This gentleman is doing something fishy. He's not available in the office at all. One day, a top management official piggybacked him. He chased him without even letting him know. He found that this gentleman was interacting with the truck drivers every afternoon. He was interacting with these people. All these management people were so focused on the business and all the other aspects. This gentleman ventured out slowly and started having lunch, interacting with the truck drivers, and then eventually found the idea for Tata Sumo, which again become a successful product. This gentleman again exemplified Japanese Toyota management principle called Genchi Genputsu. The reason why I have realized this, the reason why I need to do or we need to consider Genchi Genputsu is when we sit and take decisions from the cabins, when we imagine when you sit in the seat of a CEO, in Tamil we call it as Kakaikku Tankunju Ponkunju. That is a bias statement, right? My product, my service, my team, my process, my system, everything will look good for me because I have created it. When I ventured out and interact with the customers, as someone rightly pointed out, seeing my company from an outside worldview, it breaks some of the inherent biases of ours. It breaks, it gives breakthrough ideas, not even if not a breakthrough idea, it will help us become more market oriented. The thing which is quite uncommon is the market orientation. We all come in any meeting or any meeting related to products, ideas, systems, business growth. All we hear is opinions. All we hear is my own opinion about how I see things. 70-80% of the things. When you ask someone who's sharing their experience, what is your personal view of what you are sharing? It's based on my own work experience and everything. Sometimes it could be right or it could be wrong, right? So that's why Japanese believe we don't want any of your opinion. We want facts. This is quite contradictory to the market survey also. So what we do in market survey or market research, we appoint a third-party agency. They go and ask some random questions, and then after 3-4 months, they will submit their findings. Again, the validity of this could be right or wrong, but even notice the quality. You could consider this as a qualitative research. Even if you talk or understand the market with quite a few amount of data. One gentleman is an expert. He called this as small data. Small data. The small amount of information and data which we gather from our real experience. Real experience is much, much more valuable than all those survey questions which ask some random, do you like our products? Most of the times those questions are biased or framed differently. Sorry, I'm being very honest. So this is what I think I would like to share, and I would encourage you to think. Think like Sumant Mugolkar. Think like those Japanese. Constantly, even you can even encourage your staff. Even whenever I go into any mastermind sessions or advisory sessions, the first thing which I would do is I would request the company, allow me to sit in your storefront at least for 1 or 2 hours before I even spill a word about what you need to do. Because otherwise everything, I may have good amount of experience in other business, but every business is unique. Every problem is unique. If I don't go and, if I don't get into the edges, think of this exercise of as getting into the edges of your business, getting into the edges of your business. How will we be able to add real value without getting opinionated? So that's another idea which I thought of sharing with you. Get out of the building is nothing but Genchi Genputsu. Go to the place of action. Another Japanese principle is they will not take any business decision. If you face any, they call it as Gemba walk. You need to enter the floor. When there is an incident in the floor, you need to go to the floor, be there and take some action. Don't sit in your cabin. That's what they say. How beautiful this is to avoid biases, to avoid opinion-based thing, right? So our next idea, here I want some participation from you. Idea number 5 is what I call the pyramid thinking, right? Any set of data or any set of things you want to structure, you can structure in this pyramid. I'll give you I'll give you one example where I've used pyramid as a consultant. Again, this is a strategy consulting principle, which I took from a lot of other ideas. You would have heard about bottom of the pyramid thinking. One gentleman understood that there is a huge market at the bottom of the pyramid, right? So now I wanted to inculcate this thought in your mind. See how I have applied this pyramid for creating one of a cartoon. So I found in my experience, in general, any market can be classified into these 4 segments. Bottom is mass market, mid market, premium, luxury, right? You would most likely agree with me. When you take car market, mass market is Maruti, then mid segment is Hyundai, BMW, and Rolls Royce, right? So now, how did I do it is I've observed a lot of pyramids, and I observed when I get into consulting or solving a business challenge, I use this pyramid principle. For example, I'll give you another example. After that, I want you to come out or take any one of your business challenge or any of your business data and structure it in a pyramid. See, the idea of this pyramid principle is the bottom, the numbers are high. And as you move forward, numbers, the size become very less. So when I classify this, the reason why I kept mass market, please understand this. I'm going to encourage you to do a small exercise. The reason why I kept mass market at the bottom, it's quite prevalent. The market size, the mass market size is big. It implies that market size is big. But as you move forward, luxury, usually the luxury market is small, right? Premium market is slightly big. Mid segment is slightly big. Mass market is big. So when I approach any business problem, for example, if any profitability problem, if some entrepreneurs ask us, what we would do is we would classify the customers into highly profitable customers. Highly profitable customers usually will be very small in number. We would keep them at the top. It is not necessarily you need to classify this into 4 types. It could be even three layers of a pyramid. And then moderately profitable customers and unprofitable customers at the bottom, right? That will be usually in good numbers. I'll give you another example. Employees' performance. Usually, if you put your employees in a pyramid, only a certain proportionate amount of employees would be at the top of the pyramid. You will usually notice a passive mid segment of employees who are neither too extremely good or nor extremely bad. And at the bottom, you would find employees who are not really performing well. So what I would encourage you to do is the reason why I encourage you to think about things from a pyramid perspective is because it will help you to become a structural level thinker. It means it's a good way of approaching a problem. Master strategists do this. Okay, so now an exercise for you. I'll give you now, the time is 11:31. Only 2 minutes of time. I've shared with you 2-3 examples, right? Take any business problem or challenge which you're trying to solve and structure it in a pyramid. Like I said, this is the top segment, mid segment, bottom segment. Give it a try. As I said, there is no right or wrong answer. Do give it a try. I believe you're fine with this exercise.
Good morning, sir. It's Venkatesh here again. And I think when it comes to food, this.
1 minute, Venkatesh. You're going to share the answer of pyramid thinking. You're going to share something related to this.
Yes, regarding, I was trying to explain what is happening in the food industry as such.
Okay, and what I am asking, sorry to interrupt, you're going to link the food industry in this pyramid thinking?
Yes.
Okay, so can we take 2 minutes time? So you just make a note of your thought. I'm going to give 2 minutes for all of you. You can even further structure your thought. After this 2 minutes, I will call you. You can raise your hand. I will call you one by one.
Okay, thank
I
you, sir.
will invite participants, at least 4 or 5 participants, to share their thought process on the pyramid thinking. Is that fine with you, Venkatesh? 2 minutes of time.
Yes, sir. I'll wait for your call.
Yeah, thank you, Venkatesh. 2 minutes, 11:32, 11:34. Let's start.
Or shall I start now or wait for?
I'll call you. I will call you.
Okay.
I've given this time to think about this exercise. Okay. So 1 more minute to go. So I'm going to stop in next 30 seconds. I think we'll call Venkatesh first. Yeah, Venkatesh, go ahead and share your thoughts.
Yes, thank you, sir. Sir, I have experience about 25 years in the food industry. I'm a practicing consultant as well. And now in the food industry, I'm going to.
I would encourage others to listen this deeply, because when we see this pyramid in other people's mindset, it's very easy for you to emulate most of the things. So please go ahead, Venkatesh.
Right. I'm
Keep
broadly.
it simple and short. We need to cover a lot of things. Please keep it simple and short.
Yes, I will try to make it very simple as much as possible.
Thank you.
It is the essence of it. I can broadly classify into rural segment and the urban segment of food industry. Okay, and the rural segment I can broadly classify into 2 segments: the mass market of big mass market. I'm talking about semi-urban, rural areas and all, where there is the food is consumed by either by their own production or from the ration shops, which is the mass market, and those who started concerning about the food safety. The food security was ensured thanks to MS Swaminathan, the Green Revolution and all. Our food security is being solved now. Now, food safety standards, when it comes to the villages who are having excess money and have earned enough good money or wealthy, or started thinking about food safety, just started thinking, and they don't know if they are having what they're having is even healthy, or what is in it, or the pesticide contents of that, or inorganic fertilizer contents of that, or is all optimum. They haven't even started thinking of. Some of them have started. This is in general about the rural area. There's only 2 segments: the mass market and we can say a slightly premium customers who just wanted food safety, and they started buying this
Venkatesh, yeah, we get your point. So you are trying to keep the pyramid principle for food industry. You mean at the bottom you say rural segment, and the top
No. There are two segments. Rural segments, there is only two. In the pyramid, there are two segments, and in the urban, there is a mass market, and they are still relying on the ration supplies and all, and then also buying from supermarkets, but they are not concerned about food safety. And the next one in the urban segment, next one in the upper segment is the a little concerned people who are started asking for locally manufactured oil, and if it is organic stuffs and all. And the premium
thanks,
most
Venkatesh.
customers.
We get your point. Okay, so you're structuring
There's the
using
premium most customers who are buying foods from foreign countries like Parmesan cheese and all like that. There are three segments
thank
in
you.
the
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm going to bring the next participant. Thanks for the share, Venkatesh. He has structured the food industry into three components in the pyramid. That's a wonderful effort, Venkatesh. Thank you so much. The next participant, I think we can call Dr. Maheshwaran. And Maheshwaran, I just have 30, 40 seconds. I mean, less than a minute for you to share. It means you have to share your ideas in a very crisp way. Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, good morning to everyone. Every student or our children have prime time for studying and no prime time, or zero prime time and half prime time for studying. If a parent understands the prime time of their student or their children, if we support them at that point, even if it is 2 hours, as you said, rightly, like Messi, they will do wonders and easily they can score more than 90%. Thank you so much, sir.
Wow. Brilliant. See, you're a strategic thinker. You've even taken the pyramid principle and applied it for parenting. That's strategic thinking. See things in multiple areas of life, right? Very good effort, Dr. Maheshwaran. Next one, Krishnan.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Krishnan. I am in an automated petrochemical Indian major, and I have about 35 years experience. I'm an independent consultant. The pyramid approach for behavioral safety leading to observations and then build up to fatalities, so that we are able to have a proper observation program and eliminate incidents. My question to you and to everyone around is how to motivate the mass at the lowest end of the pyramid to be always observant as well as throw up suggestions specifically for safety improvement to make an organization absolutely safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Krishnan. And then Tirupati Armugam. What is your idea of pyramid thinking, and how do you see a practical application of pyramid thinking?
Yeah, hi. Good to be here. Most of the organizations, they come under the 85-15 or 80-20. That means 85% of your business comes from 15% of your customers. In our industry, the financial advisory services, we, based on the wealth, manage ultra HNI customers and mass customers. The products are being designed and given. So ultra HNI customers will have PMS kind of products, and mass markets will have mutual fund products distributed through automated software. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Pradap, please go ahead.
Sir, I'm in the business of eco-friendly sustainable mattress, which is made with kapur cotton. I sell it under the brand name Kana Mattress. So when I saw your pyramid, what you have displayed here, we have structured exactly the same way. So we bifurcated the market into 4 segments: mass, mid, premium, luxury. So we decided where we want to play, and we focus only in that particular area. We fall somewhere between mid segment and premium segment. So we put all our effort only focusing to that customers who meet our customer persona in that segment. So we don't care about luxury or mass market. So this helps us stay focused in our business. And like you said, we do very few things. And this pyramid approach has certainly helped us do that. So we exactly follow the same method.
Wonderful. So one last person with we are going to interact. Mukesh, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, what we manufacture is chemical plant equipment. So we have structured a pyramid into one is the conventional products which are specified, not much engineering required. A middle segment where our in-house technical team can do the work and get the designs done. And the top premium where we have to hire consultants from outside and get a top of the line product done. So that's how we approach our customers, and the higher ones have a higher margin. So that's where we can play with a lot of things.
Brilliant. Yeah. Thanks. Good things. A lot of good things have come up. It's like a practice. The more we practice things, the more we see structure things in a pyramid. Pyramid is just one way of structuring things. And another thing which I have not kept here, which you can use, is seeing things from an X and Y axis, right? We are all good at maths, right? Graph. Put business problems in Y axis and X axis and try to connect. One thing which I have done is I've created an X axis for Y axis for happiness. On one axis, you would say expectations, and other axis, disappointment. When the disappointment goes high, when the expectations goes high, the disappointment would go high. And at this point, your happiness level is very low. So take two variables. I mean, I'm not going to give this as an exercise. Take two variables from your business and try to put it in an X-axis and Y-axis and try to connect the dot. Keep this as a homework and an exercise for you. And it will make you a brilliant thinker, I'm telling you. It will make you a super effective strategist. Not just from a business standpoint, as I think Anand, I don't know who has shared, parenting, how do you structure the time, prime time? That's brilliant. That's really brilliant. How do you see social issues? How do you see your own health challenges? How do you see things from a behavioral change perspective using pyramid? So good. So now let's move ahead with the next idea. Next one is quite interesting too. 1 minute, my slide is not moving. Okay, so now you would have heard about this Chinese principle, yin and yang, right? Yin and yang. There is always two contradictory forces happening in this universe: day and night, sun, moon, heaven, hell, active, passive. I mean, this is a Chinese philosophy called yin and yang. Yin is kind of a negative forces, yang is kind of positive forces. When I use the word negative force, it literally doesn't mean something bad. It literally means there is, I mean, in battery, since a lot of chemical engineers, we say plus minus, right? There is no minus, there is no point in having plus. So you need both negative and positive energy on both sides of things for life to function. That's how this Chinese yin and yang philosophy views life. But again, how it applies to business, how it's applied to entrepreneurship, how it applies to life. See, I did this exercise, right? So the biggest advantage of seeing things from the yin and yang perspective is you don't get stuck in extremely in one side of things. For example, if you are a CEO of a company, you could feel that I need to drive more on profits. I mean, we tend to move to one extreme segment. I'm not saying profit-based thinking is bad, but it's always better to understand the contradictory force of profit, right? Which I call it as purpose. So yin elements are soft elements, yang elements are hard elements, right? This philosophy illustrates how contrary forces, which we think are in fact complementary, it's connected. It helps us to balance things and avoid being an extreme thinker, avoid being on one side of things. As leaders, as as people who handle critical stuff in our day-to-day life, it's extremely important not to lean on one side. It's very, very important, right? So, for example, if someone we see in social media, but if you notice, people always frame things in one extreme side. People usually say, idea is good, but execution matters. This is one extreme side you would see in most of the arguments in business strategy and entrepreneurship. How good is an idea if it is not executed well, right? They place more emphasis on execution. That is just not true. You need to have a brilliant idea in the first place so that you execute the idea, right? So, I mean, it helps you to balance. It means here what I'm saying is, yes, have an execution capability, but at the same time, don't miss out coming up with a good idea, right? On one side, people say we should be more people-centric. We should be like a family-centric company. If you notice, people come and eat together, enjoy together, and profits, performance is forgotten, right? So if you notice in the screen, I've kept performance on contrary to people. So how do you become people-centric at the same time, never lose out on their performance? So people sometimes say you have to be data-centric. You have to think in terms of data. What happens to intuition? Is intuition bad? No. Sometimes people say, if you have good experience, you don't have to think about data. You can take decisions based on your intuition. Is it right? Not. So how do you balance between data and intuition, understanding the yin and yang? Sometimes if you notice, there will be some strict order inside the company. Everything will be systems, process, and everything. Usually in this place, innovation is rare to happen. You need to have some kind of chaos in order for you to have innovation. But on some companies, you would notice 80% of things are in chaos. Everything is changed frequently. Systems are changed, processes. They think they are innovative. No, that's bad. You need to have some kind of order so that people comes with some kind of predictability. See, how am I contradicting with my own perspectives, thoughts, order and chaos? How do you balance this, right? So now here is an exercise for you. I want you to think of one element which has two contradictory forces, like profits, purpose, competition, cooperation, execution, idea, data-driven intuition, acquisition, retention, order, chaos, discipline, freedom. Think of one which has two extremes like this. Maybe it can come from other fields also. For example, when I say discipline and freedom, how much of discipline we try to inculcate in our children, at the same time, how much of freedom we are planning to give it to them, right? Think of it. I'm going to give just 1 minute time, or if it's not 1 minute, we can even go live, because since it's like a cakewalk, I think for most of you, you can raise your hand and go ahead and share, please. Who's going to come now?
Hi, this is Arvind.
Yeah, Arvind, please go ahead.
The truth and the lies on a given situation.
Okay. So you mean to say we have to balance between truth and lie?
Okay, with respect to a customer, we want to say the truth, but at the same time, I mean, we cannot say the lie. But at the same time, we need to we cannot also say the truth. So we need to have a balance to do that.
Okay, so I'll put it this way, instead of using the word lie. I'm being a salesperson, I'm able to understand what you're saying. By the name of truth, don't reveal everything to the customer. Share a lot of information with him so that it acts like an impediment for him to proceed with the sale. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I get your point. And then I get your point. Good thought. Good thought. The next person. soft elements, also called soft skills. Contrary element is hard skills, right? Yeah, good thought.
So Pratap here.
Yeah,
So
someone
I
else.
try
Yeah,
to
please go ahead.
find a balance between, like in your presentation, you said like intuition and structure. So similarly, I try to find a balance between functionality and as well as their sensibilities and the emotions which is involved in the purchase.
Good. So on one side, you keep functionality. If you take a product, you keep
Yes.
functionality on one side, which is a hard element, and emotions as a soft element. Very good. Very good thinking. Very good thinking.
How about doing things right and doing the right things?
Okay.
The doing things right is efficiency, and doing the right thing is effectiveness, effective decision making.
Yeah. Having a balance between efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency is doing a lot of things, scaling up, right? Efficiency is how do I do things. Yes, very good. These are definitely two contradictory forces. For example, if you're an entrepreneur, when you think that your team is doing a lot of stuff, you should immediately switch your focus to the effectiveness side. You should ask questions that you're doing so many things, how effective each and everything is. And on the contrary, if your team says, we want to do only one or two things effective, then you jump into the other side of the equation and ask, why don't we scale this up? So as a CEO or a leader, I always see a CEO or a leader as a chief balancing officer. Chief balancing officer. Use this contradictory forces and see when your team or you is leaning towards one side, intentionally push back or bring, as someone said, bring it to the equilibrium and try to push it to the other corner. This is philosophical, but you see things in your day-to-day business decisions, and it will help you to maintain equanimity. You don't fall prey to extremes. Anyone else want to share?
So may I? Kritish here.
Yeah,
please.
I want to share.
Yeah.
Can I share a second? Yeah.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. We are listening.
The common question to us during reviews, top level reviews are production numbers are good, but at the same time, it should not be at the cost of safety or health or environment.
Exactly.
So these are contradictory to us because we cannot depend on an incidence to explain away a shortfall, or any milestone is again not at the cost of an incident or a deviation on an overall context. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. In a manufacturing setting, how do you increase the production without compromising on health and safety of the workers, without any incidents? That's a good contradictory force, right? Hard element is nothing but production. The soft element is health, life, right? So how do you balance between these two? That's a very good example.
Along that lines, I would like to add one more. Most CEOs struggle in which one comes, is chicken or egg situation, whether to spend money on marketing and increase demand and then go on to the production, or start producing more or try to go and spend more on the marketing and try to sell it. So that is one of the catch-22 situations CEOs struggle sometimes.
You're right, bang on. Okay, yeah, right, catch-22 situation. So I'm not jumping into any solution here. You should do this or do this, but it's very critical. As a strategist, you see a dance between two contradictory forces and always try to maintain some balance here. That's the thought process which I request you to consider you to inculcate as a strategist. So let's move ahead with the next point. 1 minute. So idea number 7 is, understand this conceptually. This is from psychology. It's called fundamental attribution error. So what is fundamental attribution error is, I will just explain this conceptually and then give you examples. Okay. So you overemphasize on personal traits of a person rather than the situational factors. What do I mean by that? Is when you see someone driving fast in the road, you immediately come to a conclusion that this person is an arrogant driver. But in reality, he will always be driving slow. Today, someone in his family got admitted in the hospital. He's in an emergency situation and he's driving fast. Now see this conceptually. Fundamental attribution error happens when we attribute something to a personal trait without forgetting, by forgetting the situational factor. So a cricket player can take good wickets, not lot of wickets, in a playing field which is conducive for bowling. For example, if you go to Australia, you would notice a lot of fast bowlers would take good amount of wickets, or in West Indies. Would you come to a conclusion that he's the best bowler in the world? But okay, next question. Your product is extremely good and there is a huge demand. There is a huge consumer pull. Your customer always wants to buy it and you've created good demand using your marketing. And I'm a salesperson inside your company and I've sold, I did the highest ever sales in this quarter. Will you appreciate me because I am a great and conclude that I am the best salesperson in your entire company, or in the entire region? And you're a investor. You're evaluating a company, and the company, a company like, let's say, a company like Asian Paints. Company is in the business for quite a long time. We all know the brand level, the distribution level, the profitability of the firm. Would you attribute the success of Asian Paints to people inside the company or its systems it has placed? Because Asian Paints way back 25 years back, they have invested. Even at that point of time, they invented something like a supercomputer to maintain their distribution network. Where did you attribute a challenge? For example, another example, you find your employees are not working really well. You can do one thing. As a CEO, I can do one thing. These employees' attitude towards work is not that great. At the same time, I also come to realize there are no proper systems in my place. In my company, there are no proper systems, because of which they are struggling. These are situational factors. Now, I believe with these examples, you would realize, how do you see a problem? Sometimes, most of the times, this is a bias. This is a human bias, human fallacy. Is majority of the time, we tend to give overemphasis on the human personality traits rather than understanding the context in which the person is doing that thing. I'm going to take one or two person only to share their thoughts or perspectives or any real-time use case. Only one person. We may run short of time. Anyone wants to share? You get this conceptually well, right? I've also given a lot of concepts. Anyone wants to share, or can we go ahead? Yeah, I'm going ahead. But think about this fundamental attribution error. What I mean, this makes us biased, right, towards people. So idea number 8, I just have 10 ideas. So time is 12 to, at the maximum, we will close it by 10, 12, 15. Okay. So idea number 8. What do I mean by the curse of experience? And why established firms never innovate? You can even say why senior people, or why when we become experienced in a certain field, we don't innovate. I would ask you certain questions. Why established hotel companies never thought of coming up with an idea like Airbnb? Why established car companies? There are a lot of big car companies in the world, right? So why they never thought about ideas like Ola and Uber? And why fresh people, new startups thought about this when all these companies are in the market for a longer period? That's primarily because of the curse of experience. As much as we should value experience, I think the contradictory principle or idea is the more experienced we become, the more entrenched. I mean, the mind works in such ways. We become entrenched in certain systems, process, and Senvil, can you mute? Yeah. And when you notice this, the biggest challenge, or the biggest, people talk about getting out of comfort zone, right? The biggest comfort zone for us is our own belief system and self-fulfilling prophecies. Belief systems, what do I mean by that? When I frame a problem or situation, this will happen in this way only. I become aged, so diabetes is inevitable. So I cannot lose weight now because I mean, I've crossed 50. I mean, I cannot change this attitude because it's there with me for quite some time. I cannot change the business model or the way we operate in our firm because we are so heavily invested in it. I cannot change the systems of my company because it's very hard to do. These are some of the belief systems which comes out of experience and which acts like a curse for our own self. And when we are leading something or any change management or transformation, it could be our health, it could be changing our own attitude or changing the fate of our company. It's very, very important to keep this principle in mind. Okay? The curse of experience. And on contrary, I've learned a Zen principle again. It's called Shoshin. It says beginner's mindset. Even established companies innovate, right? Apple is an established company, but they see how they innovate because they have this beginner's mindset. It means they think fresh, a mindset of openness, curiosity, willingness to challenge established beliefs, willingness to question the conventional wisdom. It means sometimes firing up our own self. I mean, so beginner's mindset is very, very critical, but it can be practiced even if we are experienced. That's the reason why sometimes we need to take some break, take some fresh courses. I mean, have some accountability partners, have some coaches, have some therapists to constantly question our own thought process, beliefs, the way we operate. And beginner's mindset always also means that bringing in new, fresh perspectives in our life. For example, even at this age of 50 or 55 or 60, or even at 30 or 45, what a new skill I can learn. What is the one single idea I can learn today? I constantly ask this question. I've even kept that as an intentional target for the last 1 year. I need to meet one new person who's totally different from me, a different industry, living in a different place, maybe in US or Australia or in Azerbaijan, doing totally different things. How can I pick up his brain? So something which propels that beginner mindset. I've seen this quote. When was the last time you did something for the first time? When was the last time you did something for the first time? So this is Shoshan, beginner's mindset. And this will dramatically help coming back to entrepreneurship and business. It will help you to see fresh ideas in the market, fresh behaviors, fresh insight. So this is very useful for you, will be very useful for you. So idea number 9, decision fatigue. Now it comes at the last.
Can I
Pay more
intervene,
attention
sir?
to this. Decision fatigue is nothing but when you have to take too many decisions, our quality of decisions will come down. It's plain and simple. If you have to take 20, 25 decisions in a day, the quality of most of the decisions, maybe the initial 4 or 5 decisions will be good because the cognitive load is very less. That's why they say at the end of the day, your decision-making capacity is usually at low because during the day, you would have taken a lot of decisions. The mind is dull, boring. So how do you, the fundamental idea is this. When the quantity of decisions, like in anything else, when the quantity of decisions goes up, the quality of decisions comes down. That's why you notice highly effective people. The top 1% of people in the world. I've even heard, the idea of minimalism, right? I've even heard something like this. Swami Vivekananda has just 5 dresses, just 5 dresses to wear. He don't want to ask what dress I have to wear when waking up every day, right? So that's decision. That's a decision. See, I've noticed myself, right? Sometimes with me and my wife, sometimes that we used to even literally take 5-10 minutes time just to decide what dress I have to wear. It's a decision. So it needs cognitive thinking, right? And I've heard, like generally investors buy a lot of stocks, buy, sell a lot of stocks. I've heard only 3 stocks of Warren Buffett's portfolio has given him billions and billions of dollars of profits. Only 3 stocks in his portfolio. He believes in not taking too many decisions. When you study the autobiography of Warren Buffett, you will realize this. Right? He doesn't believe in the principle of diversification. He believes in the idea of understanding something more deeply and put more focus on few things. Right? Again, it's quite contradictory, right? So if I don't have an idea of stock market, again, there is no option than to diversify. That's again a different story. But how do we reduce the number of decisions which we make in day-to-day life? Another idea which I've learned is, am I chasing? What I've learned is this. A lion can chase a rat or a big antelope to satiate his lunch or dinner. But the amount of energy which the lion puts to chase a small ant and to chase a big antelope or deer is the same. But the end, if he gets the ant, his lunch shrink, the quantity of lunch shrink. But if he puts the same amount of energy in getting an antelope, so in business, are we chasing, are we putting huge amount of energy or in entrepreneurship, in business or in our day-to-day life? am I putting too much of decision thinking or cognitive load on ants, small rats? Or am I putting the same energy in catching the antelope, deers? Because our mind doesn't know whether it is it an antelope or ant. I mean rat. It's just an analogy, right? So just think about it. 1 minute. I'm just taking a pause here because I just need to plug in my charger. Yeah, thank you so much. I just need to plug in my charger because I was running short of charge in my laptop. So that's the idea of decision fatigue. Okay. So my final idea is another interesting one. With this, we will close the session. Okay. This idea is called becoming anti-fragile. Okay. Hope the slide is visible to all of you. This idea is called becoming anti-fragile. Fragile is nothing but easily breakable, right? So how do you become anti-fragile? Anti-fragile in the sense, how do you become strong in front of an adverse situation, in an uncertain situation, right? So how do I see this is I've learned this principle from a book, and I'm going to share this with you. A way to become anti-fragile or to protect us from uncertainty and a lot of risk is this. I've hand drawn this. Let me explain this from an idea of investment. Let's say you are an investor. What you do to become more anti-fragile is you put your investment, let's say 90% of your investment in low risk, highly safe investments, highly safe stocks or bonds or whatever it is. But you put 10%, a small proportionate of your money in high risk investments, where the probability of failure is very high. So this is called barbell strategy, right? So you can even learn about this barbell strategy. It's an investment philosophy. But what I've done is I've taken this barbell strategy and started thinking this from a standpoint of entrepreneurship, from the standpoint of even my career and professional growth. So how did I apply this in my career? See, I was working as a full-time employee way back 8-9 years back. Even while I was working, 10% of my time I used to allocate on writing, reading, small amount proportionate of my time in speaking. This is a high risk. I was on a full-time job, so majority of my time I focused on working there. But I didn't fully, I took up 10% of my time and even money, resources and everything and started building something parallelly. Now that has become a full-time opportunity or employment for me. From a business standpoint, if you're a CEO, entrepreneur, how you can think about this is, even if you run your established business, take 10% of your time, resources, money, or anything, and start building on something which is slightly futuristic. The probability of failure is high, but build on it. separately build on it. Even if 4 or 5 of your ideas fail, if even one idea picks up, it becomes, I mean, a big growth opportunity for you. While this 90% of your established business usually any person like the businesses grow. At the same time, the risk of established businesses are also high. So becoming anti-fragile is nothing but putting a small amount of focus on extremely aggressive high risk aspects, right? In Google, I have learned they allow their employees to do this. You can parallelly spend 10% of the time to build on something new where the it's kind of experimentation, where the probability of failure is very high. Even in your personal career or growth, business, or even if you take marketing for an example, put 10% of your money on long-time brand building exercise. You cannot measure it, but it adds more value. So this is, by thinking this way, you're not again extremely focused on one aspect, dependent on one aspect. You're on an experimentation mode. You become anti-fragile. So that's about it. I've thought of sharing these 10 ideas. I think I'm done with it. Now the time is 12:18. I took 3 more minutes from you. So thank you so much for sharing my thoughts. Maybe we can keep this as a question and answer session, or maybe like someone wants to come up and share their thoughts on all these 10 ideas. Anyway, I will be sharing these slides with you. You can try to practice it in your day-to-day business and professional setting also. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the outstanding session, Mr. Rajesh. Your perspective was very refreshing. It indeed was exceptionally stimulating and informative. So we'll keep the floor open for question and answers now. Participants, please unmute and ask your questions, please.
So Pratap here, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
So there are a total of 10 ideas is what you told. I found that idea number 3 and idea number 8 were like kind of counterintuitive. Because in third, you said winning without doing anything new. You talked about entropy and all that. When we come to idea number 8, we were talking about curse of experience, doing something new, with curiosity and all that. So how do they, complement each other or contradict each other? You can just tell me where do we find this yin and yang in this? It will be really helpful, sir.
That's a good question, right? So yeah, you see a yin and yang here also, right? That's very good. That's very good. See, on one side, we thought of an idea number 3. I said, don't innovate. Bring order where there is disorder, entropy. Here, this is a soft element. There you can consider that as a very hard element. And I truly agree with you. This is 2 contradictory ideas. Here, the curse of experience is more of a soft element. It's the way we see the world, right? So even if you take idea number 3, even to see idea number 3, you need to remove the curse of experience. The curse of experience usually says that do something new, do something more, find new ways of improving things. But idea number 3, what it's really, when I share that idea number 3, it means you try to remove that curse of experience and seeing that I don't have to do something new in order to improve things. That's again a fresh perspective, right? So I agree there are 2 contradictory things, but as I said, as a strategist, you and me has to agree and has to dance between these 2 contradictory forces. And I truly appreciate your question. Good question.
Thank you, sir.
Rajesh, I have a question.
sir.
Paul here.
Yeah, Paul, go on.
Most
Hello?
useful talk. Sorry, can you hear me?
Go on, Paul.
Most useful talk. Quickly to pick your brain on 3 must-read books for a strategic businessman or a consultant?
Yeah, sure. That's a good question. I'm going to type, and I'm even while I type, I am also going to share good strategy, bad strategy. This book is by Richard Rumelt. Good strategy, bad strategy. This book is by a gentleman called Richard Rumelt. It will take you to the world of strategy concepts. Okay, so the best way to read this book sometimes is not to buy the book and read it fully. It may take some time. I mean, the shortcut of reading a book is you go and type good strategy, bad strategy summary in Google, and you will most likely end up in a blog where they summarize the good concept of all those big. Pick up one concept, practice it, read it on a daily basis. If you are finding it difficult to read, buy a book. So this is book number 1. Good strategy, bad strategy. So as you ask question, I'll share the ideas for next 2 books.
Thank you.
I'm going to share the next area where you can get good ideas from physics, biology, and apply it in business. It's called Farnham Street blog, FS blog. I'm sharing all my learning resources with you so that you can apply it. Where you can find a book on first principles. Farnham Street blog. First principles. They have a lot of blogs also inside that. Even if you register in their email, every Sunday they will send you some thoughts which will surely increase your strategic thinking. It's called Farnham Street. They have released 2 books on first principles. This is second learning resource. And third learning resource is not a book, right? What you do is you can keep this as a practice to inculcate strategic thinking. For example, if you are a chemical engineer, team up with a person who's totally, I mean, he could be from sports, he could be a chess player, totally different from what you do. Have a friendship with them, have coffee with them, understand what he tries to do. This concept is called genius zone, right? Your genius zone comes when you apply chemical engineering with cricket. When you apply chemical engineering with Darwin's theory. Apply 2 seemingly different, try to connect 2 seemingly different things, right? It will stretch your thinking. It will stretch your thinking to different level. For example, if you ask me what I'm doing on these lines is, I'm studying the idea of Buddhism, how it evolved. I'm studying Zen. I'm teaming up with a Zen master and trying to understand, because Zen is mostly not religious. They have a lot of beautiful philosophies and concepts. I'm just trying to see how these things can be helpful to entrepreneurs. It's totally different, right? So if you are good at certain sports, try to connect that sport with your business, or try to connect something which is totally different. Yeah. Raghuram, chess master Anand was advised to play football to become a genius at chess. Yes. Yeah, you can go ahead. I think I'm waiting for the questions while I also try to answer the third book.
So I think very good session, Mr. Rajesh. Is Shubhang here. I work for TI, Head Sales and Marketing for Industrial Chains. A couple of very interesting insights you shared. on the yin and yang, I had a question. How do you at times, balance both the soft and the hard parts? Because you have to go hard with the team for the numbers, but there's also an emotional aspect that needs to be handled, right? So I kind of, it's very interesting. So your thoughts on this, please.
Yeah, that's a good thought. See, even I was handling team, right? So how do you balance between numbers and emotions? How do you balance between transactions and emotions? This is a two contradictory force. I mean, I've even shared people performance. I mean, both are interconnected. So how do I get numbers done without compromising on people quotient? Is a very, very critical question. Anyone can ask, even while parenting, right? So how can I bring about the necessary behavioral change in my person, in my son, without getting into that resentful mode as a parent, as a father, right? I mean, it's not, there is no direct answer to it. We have to, certain things we have to, I mean, has to come from our own experience. For example, we cannot compromise on the number, but if you put more focus on the numbers, we would see people moving away from the company. Retention, I mean, the churn will be very high. I mean, if I put more focus on the numbers, I will be constantly disturbed. I mean, I run behind numbers. People management is one of the most toughest job in the world, right? So how can you get things done without managing people? I think I've heard in one of the books, Jim Collins, Good to Great, I've learned that you shouldn't be managing people in the first place. If you're managing, I mean, from the words of Jim Collins, whenever you feel the need to manage people, he says, you're made a hiring mistake. Whenever you feel the immense need to manage people, he says, you have made a hiring mistake. Whenever I've noticed this, whenever I feel the need to manage people, I think that person, either I am wrong, I am not seeing him right. Considering that I'm a neutral person, I made a hiring mistake because that person is not doing well. So instead of managing him, I have to replace him, right? Replace him for, these are some of the thoughts. These are not the direct answers to your question. These are some of the thoughts which we can inculcate when we try to balance between performance and people, because this is one of the biggest challenge for which there is no direct answer, right?
So, and 94 biological engineering.
Sorry? Your voice is breaking. Who's speaking? Hello?
Money is not clear, Money.
Are you able to hear me, sir?
Yeah,
No,
Money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not audible.
Hello?
One sec.
Hello?
Sir, are you, am I audible? Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yes, just I want to share one example for yin yang. All healthy things will not make us happy, and all happy things will not make us healthy.
Yeah, brilliant. I even realized things, yeah, that's true. Things that brings me happiness is all not always good for me. I may extremely like smoking cigarette, so it's not good for me, right? I may like to sleep up to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, but it's not good for me. So that's a good thinking. Whatever I like is not always good for me. That's good way of seeing yin and yang. I truly appreciate that thought. Who's that, by the way?
Money.
From 94 chemical engineering.
Yeah, thank you so much.
India.
Yeah, now you're thinking like a master strategist. Okay, that's what. See, this is all about
I
thinking
have a
about
question,
master
Mr. Rajesh.
strategies. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, Damani, please go on, Damani, sir.
Yeah. See, I'm in the field of R&D actually. See, the problem is actually when you say innovation, that to a multidisciplinary one with a lot of restrictions in the research field. See, I'm in the BARC, Baba Atomic Research Center, as a senior scientist. Bringing out the sense of time and simultaneously achieving the target. It's becoming extremely difficult stuff actually, because the scientists always feel they should have a full freedom to achieve a free mind to approach to the result. This is becoming a big problem. I feel entire BRC is suffering from this syndrome to which affects the progress severely. Can we do something on this?
See, slightly, let's move away from your own challenge and see this. No, everywhere, even if you run a company, the biggest impediment for innovation, for anything of that sort, is time pressure. We are all time bound, right? The biggest reason why companies don't innovate is because they have this quarterly targets. Every 3 months once you need to touch that number, but by any chance there is no.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Rajesh. Here the thing is, the job itself is innovation only. So we don't have such type of targets, but indefinitely the time is getting moved. That's the thing, that inner sense of completion, accomplishing something. No, that I think that the decision making, that this is the place we have to stop as far as this research is concerned, that is becoming a big problem. Either money forces or the time forces, like that it is.
Yeah.
The completion of innovation is forced by either money or time, or even sometimes the death of people. The person retires or he resigns. The research ends there.
Yeah, I understand. You mean to say, because of time pressure, I'm just reframing what you said. Because of time pressure, because we have a time to complete things, we are putting more pressure on the system, because of which people and money is also getting affected. That part is also getting affected. Is that right?
No, actually speaking, we don't have a time limit. So we fail to put a time limit, though the research keeps on going. That's all. It is not fetching any result, but the money goes, time goes, resource goes. And a time comes where somebody takes a call telling that, oh, enough time is spent on this, or enough resources are spent on this, just put off this. Actually, it's a good stuff for an innovation, but the real IQ in selecting that and proceeding with that, there is a gap.
So
may
your
I
challenge...
respond to this? What with my experience? I mean, just we are sharing here.
Who's that?
This is
Nitin, go on, Nitin.
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go.
Okay, so what I see here is innovation as a standalone department in an organization where they have certain outcomes expected out of that department. Whereas the modern organizations have innovations ingrained as part of every employee's KRAs and KPIs. A small percentage of it is also what innovation you bring to the table. That is as a measure of their KPIs. So rather than having a department of innovation or things like that, I understand that an R&D organization is slightly big. But what in public sector units of 30, 40 years, suggestion awards were there. That is now being made as a common thing for all employees to come up with something. And then once any innovation is caught on, they are expected to, the management gives them the liberty to steer it and bring it to fruition. So I think the approach to the expectation of innovation as a department or as a standalone thing is probably where the fault lies.
Yeah, good thought. Anyone else want to share related to that?
So the infrastructure provided for the innovation, probably that would have a time-based thing, because probably there are brains inside the atomic energy, but the necessary tools and infrastructure which is needed to bring the ideas into implementation, probably the infrastructure and the funding process have timelines which is not being able to deliver it at time. So that can be one of the reasons.
Good. Okay. See, I'll tell you something which I have learned. Okay. So I appreciate all these thoughts. You just need to study this. I'm sharing a work. It's called Shunk Works. Shunk Works. I'm just typing it here. Okay, so it's a highly innovative organization in Air Force in US. Way back, I mean, they used to roll out a big aircraft idea. Usually these big aircrafts, it takes 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, or even 4 or 5 years to roll out these aircrafts. In Shunk Works, what they do is they innovate and roll out these ideas, ship these ideas in just 2 months or 3 months. So how they do it is they have created, based on these principles, they have created some Shunk Works principles also for organizations like you. It's innovative driven organization, right? You have to keep on innovating and push your ideas out to the market. But there are certain common roadblocks which your organizations of your type usually face. So this is started by a gentleman called Lockheed Martin. I'm just typing here. This read will be really useful for you, particularly for your innovation organization. So I'm just reading certain rules which they have kept to roll out, to ship their ideas and roll out their ideas at scale very, very soon, right? So I'm just going to rule, again, they have 14 principles for innovative organizations. So I'm just going to read just 4 or 5 principles randomly. Maybe just see it connects with you. Okay, some things are very, very innovative. The team must be collected in a small project office. That small team has to be disconnected with the whole world, and they should be given freedom without any bureaucracy to take decisions. This is the number one Shrunk Work principle. I'm not sharing anything directly to you because the context of the problem which you're sharing is huge. I'm just sharing this could help. Shrunk Works principles, some of them could help, right? That is number one.
I'm appreciating it. Please go ahead.
Yeah, the number one, the second rule is ruthlessly minimize the team size. I've applied some of the Shrunk Works rules for certain organizations which want to truly innovate. Number two rule is ruthlessly minimize the team size. Number three, prototype quickly. Don't sit on ideas, think about what we are doing and all those things. Come up with a prototype very quickly. I'm just reading it. The team must be trusted by company management. The team must be trusted by the company management. It means you don't constantly intervene in their day-to-day affairs. Restrict access to outsiders. It means not many will intervene. You don't have to get approvals from a lot of things and all those bureaucratic stuff, which usually takes 1 or 2 months time. Involve people in the big picture. The top man has to be involved. This small team has to have connection with the top man of the firm so that they take quick decisions and move forward. The other Shrunk Work principle is, I think these are some of the things. Please go ahead and read these Shrunk Works principles and just share this with your senior management or discuss and see how its relevance with the context of the problem which you are facing. Most of the times, I mean, literally being honest with you, The problem is bureaucracy in big organizations, right? You have one idea, your idea versus my idea. How much of time it takes to get approval for even for the small things? How much of the influence, how many people influence an idea, right? So you just see, I really don't know, because to solve this, I think we may have to discuss in length. So I would really appreciate if you go through the Shunk Works philosophy, something you may come up with something.
Nice. Thanks a lot, Mr. Rajesh. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mr. Balu, for this.
Thanks, Dominic. Thanks, Dominic. Thanks for joining us today. Sanjay?
Yes, sir. Very informative session, sir, and very, I mean, a lot of thoughts you have put in one such small duration. Sir, this yin and yang principle, which you have covered, and I was just trying to combine that with your entropy theory, sir, the hard and the soft elements and the entropy. Now, when you said that the bigger the business organization or any business organization, now what happens is in the hard elements, now we are finding AI is brought in now, AI to do the decision making also. So this AI with which is focusing more on the hard elements, and things are going to get a little more in terms of moving towards a disorder, it's going to be a little more faster, possibly. So is it the time to be more grounded with the soft elements, especially when this technology is benefiting technology is being benefited by the hard elements? So like for a business entrepreneur, we should not be too, like we have to counterbalance and we have to avoid extremism. So what are your thoughts on this, especially with this AI stuff and the yin yang, sir, with respect to business? Am I clear, sir?
Sir, you're muted, sir. Rajesh, you're muted.
Yeah. See, to be a good strategist, you first need to ask good question. So the way you ask the question, to me, you already shaped your thinking on strategic thinking, right? So wonderful. That your question has an answer. See, what the Newton's third law of motion says: for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, right? So this is a foundational principle. Even yin and yang says something similar to that. When the world runs behind automation, AI, and technology, it is always important to counterbalance it with the opposite side of things. For example, in your firm, if you're trying to automate too many things, what goes for a toss is human engagement. For example, if you're a bank, if you're trying to automate things, full automation, and you're a customer and you're trying to call the bank, they say press 1 for that, press 2 for that, or talk to our chatbot. But you want to talk to a human, you want to talk to, your problem is that the chatbot cannot handle your problem, right? So automation, the opposite force of automation is engagement, human engagement. As you rightly pointed out, I'm not against technology. As much as you adopt AI, the other technology tools, get into the other side of the equation and see how it can be counterbalanced. That's why I said your question in itself had an answer, and that was a brilliant question. Even I advise or suggest people, even I use chatbot and AI tools, but again, the way I see that is it has to be counterbalanced. Because as humans, we are emotional, right? We cannot be, you cannot fully automate my experience. That's a brilliant way of thinking things.
Thank you, sir. Just to, highlight that we have to be more grounded when technology is used.
Exactly. You are 100% right. I agree with you on that.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Arun, Pritish. Always. Anyone else has a question?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's time. Yeah.
Yeah, time. You can. I'm available on LinkedIn.
Yes,
We
sir.
can even stay connected. You can send
Yes,
me a
sir.
connection request. I write a lot about strategy and other things as a blog. We can connect, share our thoughts. And I thank you so much, the entire team, not just for giving me an opportunity to talk, but the way you interacted with me, the way you quickly adopted the concepts which I have shared is mind-blowing, right? So that's what we need as master strategists. Thank you so much for organizing this, Gopi, and thank you so much, all of you, for the active participation in the first place.
Thank you very much, sir, for taking your time out on a Sunday morning to be with us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. See you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.